In the next couple of minutes, we're going to be talking about youth tech development and the role of community engagement. With us in studio, it's Mahmood Noor. He is the founder and chief mentor Swahilipot Hub Foundation. Noor, karibu tena sana to Radio Generation.
Asante na nafurahi. I hope mimi ni among the few watu wa Mombasa ambao wamefika hapa.
Actually, naweza sema yeye ndio kwanza, sivyo? Kutoka Mombasa.
Hata kama sio wa kwanza, at least baadhi ya wale wa kwanza.
Baadhi ya wale wa kwanza for sure. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Maybe perhaps you can let us know a little bit about Swahilipot Hub Foundation for those who are hearing it for the first time.
Yeah. Mwanzo kwa sababu nimeingia tu jana usiku.
Naam.
Mwanzo ni kupatiana rambirambi zangu kwa baba na mta baba wa taifa Raila Amolo Odinga, kwa wafuasi wake, kwa sisi sote ambayo tumeshirikiana naye, na pia kwa kutambua umuhimu na ile mahali ambaye ile mchango ambaye alitupatia sisi kama Wakenya. So nafikiri mwanzo ni kupeana hiyo rambirambi kwa Wakenya wote na watu wote ambao wanatusikiza. Pili, Swahilipot Hub ni sehemu ama space ambayo tume create kwa ajili ya vijana. Nilipoianza Swahilipot Hub, ilikuwa ni pale nilienda Mombasa kwa ajili ya kuweka ile undersea fiber optic cable. Watu wengi kwa sasa hawaoni umuhimu wake, yani hawajui, wanaichukulia for granted.
Kweli?
But ukimuuliza CT hapa atakuelezea. Before 2009 ilikuwa ni vipi kupata internet connectivity.
Naam.
Hiyo wakati ilikuwa karibu $5,000 kwa 1 meg kwa mwezi. So that is what took me to Mombasa.
Right.
Na nilipokuwa Mombasa, kuna baadhi ya vijana ambaye nilianza kuingiliana na wao, wakawa wako iHub, and then they reached out wakaniambia wana shida ya internet.
iHub hapa Nairobi.
Hii iHub moja hapa. Because ni baadhi ya wale vijana ambaye nili-encourage waje waangalie what's happening at the cable station pale Mombasa.
Naam.
So ndio nikachukua ile fursa kuconvince board ya Seacom tupatie hubs internet connectivity, because iHub ilikuwa ina play role muhimu sana. So tulipatia iHub, Nailab, Nairobi Garage, MLab na Outbox Kampala.
Naam.
Free internet. Nafikiri tuliwa save almost $10,000 a month kwa ile capacity tulikuwa tunawapatia. Na hata tulikuwa nyumbani kwake Bitange juzi Brussels. So hata nilikuwa namkumbusha Ambassador Bitange, yes.
Naam.
Nilikuwa namkumbusha because kuna baadhi ya wale tulikuwa na wao wanauliza kuhusu Swahilipot. Nikamwambia in fact tulipokuwa tunafungua Nairobi Garage niliuliza pale Bitange alikuweko. Kwa nini tuna concentrate kila kitu Nairobi na cable ina land Mombasa? Kwa nini hubs ziko Nairobi na hakuna yoyote Mombasa? So ndio nikasema badala ya kuuliza maswali kwa nini mimi nisifanye kitu. Ndio pale nikatafuta, kulikuwa na building ambayo iko pale imewachiliwa, nikaomba National Museum wakatupatia, then we started it kama tech hub. Baadaye tukaona athari yake si vile tulitarajia, kwa sababu ukisema technology watu wengi wanaitoroka. So tukasema then kwa nini tusifanye technology na usanii na arts. Arts ambayo iko na visual, spoken word, acting, music, na pale namba ikasaji. So kutoka hiyo siku ni space ambayo tumecreate kwa vijana kuja kushauriana, kukutana, kuweza kupata mwanzo mtandao. Ukiwa una ushauri wa biashara, utapata wenzako ambayo mnaweza kujadiliana. Unataka mentors ambayo nafikiri program kubwa ambayo tunafanya ni ya mentorship. In fact katika hiyo mentorship program saa hizi tumefikia vijana 9,000. Na nikisema vijana ni both wa kike na wa kiume. Between Kwale, Kilifi na Mombasa. Na tuko na kufanya hii kazi tuko na around 150 mentors. So kuna aim yetu kubwa ni kumpa kijana space, aje pale awe na mtu wa kumwelekeza ili aweze kujitambua, and then baada ya hapo kumwelekeza wewe unaweza kufanya teknolojia, unaweza kufanya biashara, unaweza kuwa connected kwa kazi, unataka skills fulani. So hiyo ndio sababu kuu, hiyo ndio Swahilipot hub kwa ufupi. Naam.
And it's interesting because especially when you mentioned the fact that these hubs will host people that have got diverse talents.
Yes,
that is what I've noticed also at iHub. I used to frequent iHub when it was also starting back in the early 2000s. I also used to visit, or rather not used to visit, but I know of Nairobi Garage that also has that kind of output. So that tells us that you cannot really separate the youth from their talents. So you can give them all the internet you want for sure, but you really cannot separate them from also the other things that they like. For example, spoken word, music, and other forms of art.
And interestingly, man is creative.
Right.
Personally, huwa sipendi kuongea kuhusu youth. Na huwa namwambia Sitimuga, huwa naongea kuhusu Kenya.
Naam.
Kwa sababu Kenya ni nchi changa. Ikiwa 75% wako chini ya miaka 35. So actually hata tunafaa tusisahau, tunajua ukisema youth ni kama unawatenga.
Naam.
Afadhali tuseme wa Kenya, because wa Kenya ni watu ndio ma youth. So they are creative in nature. Man is very creative.
Very creative.
And the interesting thing, when we brought art ndani, even the quality of the innovations became better. Because when I'm a technical man, yes, we have solutions. Ama tunasema tunaweza fanya hivi na hivi na hivi. But when we had hackathons, and then we incorporated all kinds of people, including creatives,
right,
the what was coming out of those hackathons were far much better. So you can't separate ile creativity. Ukizunguka ulimwengu mzima, angalia wale watu ambao wanaketi na kufikiria na ubunifu, and then sasa hizi unafaa uzicombine na wale ambao tuseme wamesomea mambo mengine tofauti. Then happen ndio tuko na solutions. So by nature, man is a creative person. You just need to give him the right environment, the right tools, and the right motivation.
Okay.
And I think that's what we try to do, to give in these spaces.
Are you collaborating with the government, whether national or county government, in any way whatsoever?
You can't work without government. Government is important. Like the land where we are operating from, that one is government land. And then there are so many things that government also is doing. And
such
one,
as?
For example, they have a very ambitious program to have hubs in all the 14 something wards in the country. So it means they have put in money, and it runs into billions to set up similar hubs. At Swahilipot, we believe we cannot operate alone, but we can operate within an ecosystem. So one of the things that we have done, we know the MPs wamepewa hii budget kufanya hii kazi. Na kwa mfano tumecollaborate vizuri sana na kama mbunge wa Mvita, because alikuja akaona what we are doing na akatuomba twende tushirikiane ku set up a similar model, because pesa ako nayo na space ako nayo. So now
jina lake
anaitwa Honorable Machele. Yule mbunge wa Mvita. So ameanza na 50 computers. So the programs that we are doing, yeye pia anazifanya pale. Na ni hawa vijana wetu wameshirikiana naye kuifanya. Asa then it makes our work easier, because you don't have to walk all the way to city na probably wewe unajua mpaka pale karibu Fort Jesus. But sasa ile ni Arjinkala. So mtu wa Kachonjo, mtu wa Chuda inakuwa ni karibu. Hata ukitoka Changamwe pale ni karibu zaidi. So ameanza programs kama juzi tulienda tumefanya graduation ya almost 200 of them. Wanapata digital literacy. With the digital literacy kuna wale wanapata pesa online. Na watu wengine wanaichukulia kama mzaha. But at the same time pia sio rahisi. Because ukimwambia mtu kuna dola unapata online, wengi wanakuja wakifikiri watapata dola haraka haraka. But inataka consistency, inataka ubuild profile, inataka ujue unataka nini, ambayo inaweza kuchukua hata mwaka mzima kubuild a very good profile. That you start earning.
Before you start earning. Maybe on that point of these profiles, what exactly are they doing to earn money? Are they doing remote jobs? And if it's remote jobs, what kind of remote jobs are they doing? Are they creating software? Are they creating programs? What exactly are they doing to earn them this money?
I think there are all kinds of jobs. And these things did not start today. I'll give you my example. In 2000, I was using Upwork, which was then called elance.com.
I know about Upwork actually.
Yes. So actually kazi nyingi ziko Upwork. Kuna millions of jobs. And jobs zile zinakuwa posted ni from the simplest. Kuna mtu anataka tu utranscribe whatever anasema iwe typed, although squeezy AI inafanya hiyo. Imeiba hiyo. So you also need to use AI.
But it depends.
Yeah.
There are some languages you can still transcribe, yes.
Yes. And then kuna graphic. Maybe unataka tu a simple design. Kuna wale wanataka a certain proposal, nataka we refine vizuri. Kuna complicated work ambayo ni architectural. Mimi in 2000 that time I was lucky, nilikuwa nafanya biashara pia. So one of the jobs that I was doing, which I saw as an opportunity, was to create websites for corporates. So nilikuwa natafuta wale wana code, walikuwa wachache sana. Probably walikuwa wanajulikana maybe watu 10, 15. So unampatia mtu kazi na huku ume commit from a corporate, then anakuzimia simu ama anapotea.
Oh yeah, that has happened.
So and there were very few of them. So that is how, na unajua necessity is the mother of invention.
Invention, yes.
Ile frustration, that is how I came across elance.com. So and I remember the website for NAC. That's why nasema mtu kama Raila, I admire him. Nili donate website ya kwanza ya NAC. Ile
National Rainbow Coalition.
Ile ya Tosha. We gave them a website. It costed me around $3,000. Mimi na my colleague anaitwa Edwin Bomanyi. That's my business partner.
Yes.
So how did we get these people? Out of hii frustration ndio tulikuja tukajua Elance. So una post kazi huko. Kama hiyo wakati ya kutengeza website, huku wanakuambia tunatengeza na maybe hiyo $4,000. Elance wanakuambia nitaitengeza na nusu ya hiyo na nitadeliver within a week. Huyu amekwambia atadeliver a month.
Yes.
And since I knew Elance, nilikuwa sasa kazi zangu zote nazipeleka huko.
Okay.
And now Elance has grown, ilibadilishwa into Upwork. It posts millions of jobs. So but for me, why I'm saying the profile is important. Jobs ziko kila aina. And I will wish you even go online and just look at it. Uangalie tu zile kazi zimepostiwa saizi. Ni kama tu fundi wako.
Naam.
Fundi wako wa viatu ama fundi wa chochote. Unaenda kwa fundi yupi ikiwa unakaa mtaani Kibra pale? Kuna yule ambaye unaambia ule ukienda atadeliver on time. Atafanya kazi mzuri. Na ndio sababu ni muhimu kutengeza hiyo profile over time. Because ukiwa na watu wengi and then siku hizi kuna online reviews, watu wanapeana good report, umefanya kazi, maybe unaweza anza na pesa ya chini. But once umepewa good reviews na unaendelea, then eventually you build a profile. Yeah, and then it's easy for you now to earn more, because yule mtu ambaye analipwa $2 kwa kazi fulani, wewe utapewa $10. So and I think that is what we need a lot of Kenyans to realize.
Yeah.
That there is no easy money. Umeambia unabonyeza unapata $1, it's not that easy. Ni uende pale uangalie ni fursa gani ambayo yuko, uangalie ni skills gani, na ndio nasema kama serikali kwa kutumia Jitume. Kuna hiyo online tutorial ambayo inakufunza kupata hizo skills ambazo uende kupata zile kazi. So iko kwa upande wake the ministry imejaribu kufanya kazi, ndio sababu nashirikiana na national government, especially Ministry of ICT through Konza City Museum, kwa sababu ya ile space ambayo ametupatia. County government, we also collaborate with them. At times I say we collaborate strategically. Sio lazima upewe pesa, because mara mingi watu wanafikiri collaboration ni pesa. But there are things that government can unlock that is so important for you to work with them.
True. Yeah. City, I know you during your time growing up, amkuwa mnajua kitu kama ati host online jobs juu hakukuwa na online.
Bro, what online? We didn't even have cell phones.
There was no connectivity.
There was a time when I was much younger.
Yes.
You needed to go through a switchboard to actually be connected to somebody elsewhere. And you more or less had to time it. It's not as though when you called, you could go through. You'd be told to wait.
Mwanzo unaambiwa DC yako kwa line anaongea.
Hakuna kitu utakaa.
District commissioner.
No. Yes.
Utangoja.
There's no choice. Because there's somebody, it's called a switchboard, who actually connects all these things. It's the same thing we take M-Pesa for granted. Something called a money order. You could send a money order to the nearest post office.
Yes.
But it very much depended on if there were people who had actually deposited money there for it to be sent.
Yeah.
Because you have the documentation, money has been sent for you. But they need to have the cash. They actually need to have it for them to pay you.
Yeah.
So if it's a local... So if it's a local post office, they also know who you are. They cannot tell you what to do. We only have half. So why don't we give you half? Come back tomorrow. We give you the other half. So that is the era when I was a young person. In fact, even when I left the university around 1981, I used to bank with the post office.
Post bank.
Yes, no. It became post bank later. Yes, but the post office, the postal service had a facility for saving. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Na kitabu.
There was a book. So very good. So even as you deposit your money, it was written. You knew. You knew how much money you had. So there was the service that we refer to now, where money is deposited. You are notified, money is deducted. All these things everything was physical. I went to Kenyatta University. It was Kenyatta University College, a constituent college
of University of Nairobi.
Yes. So if I wished to go to the post office, I'd go to Ruiru. So you simply walk, take a bus or a matatu that head that direction. That was the era. Of course, when you started working, you needed to open a bank account.
Yeah.
And the choices we had as civil servants was National Bank, KCB.
Kenya Commercial Bank.
Yeah, there were other banks, yes. But those are the banks you had. So, again, you need to understand, and this is a question I've been asked by probably my own children and other people who are younger. So, since you didn't have cell phones, how did you plan to meet? You used to plan in advance.
Days in advance, sometimes even weeks.
Kutane Kenya cinema sa fulani.
Yes. A week. There were landlines, of course, and you could call. Now, you can imagine if you wanted to call a young lady and the phone is in the father's house.
Alafu unapiga na hii sauti yako uko na base. Hello.
Unangoja usikie nani anashika.
Can I talk to Sally? Baba yake anashangaa, Sally, who are you? But yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right now that technology has really, gotten there. I'm looking at that website you're talking about. This is Upwork.com. This is the one, right?
Yes.
Because I remember there's a time when I was jobless and I really got into this website and I was looking for a job. I never got one. How people actually manage to get these jobs is beyond me. But yes, so you have here like e-commerce brand operations manager. This is a remote position. They are paying you $3,500. It's a lot of money, eh? There's another one here, virtual mystery shopper. This one is charging, paying you $7. Then we have one here for $50. That is MTI live class video direction. What they do there, I have no idea.
But then for the mystery shoppers, I think at times you'll find a store in the US. Wanakuambia tusaidie reviews. Tuandikie reviews mzuri ama hata saa zingine unajua hiyo ni ya urongo, but kuna ile genuine wanakuambia try our product and then tuandikie review online.
So they send you this product.
Yes.
It could be a phone, it could be okay.
And they'll pay you.
Of course, for sure.
You know what is underlying here, as Noor was speaking, is beyond just training you. There's a key component to that whole process. It's called discipline. Because you're then taught to, one, as you acquire the skill, you need to be disciplined to complete it. When you've completed it and you're looking for work, you also need discipline to be able to understand that beyond just knowing that there is such a website, you actually have to be patient, you have to work, you have to find a good fit. Why do I mention the word discipline? Because, my friend, that's the cornerstone of most anything that has to be successful. If there's no element of discipline, that thing will never reach its full potential. Yes.
And no shortcuts.
Yes. Oh, no. The moment discipline comes in, there are no shortcuts. You go through the process, and once you're familiar with it and it's something you then understand, then you see the output. Then you start seeing the benefit.
Right.
Yes.
Just to mention a few more gigs, like there's here a bilingual assistant, someone who can speak both English and Spanish for medical records department. They need you, and they really haven't said how much they'll pay you here, but I guess if you open this portal, you'll get to see. So they have, for some of the skills they require from you is communications, administrative support, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, kazi zipo.
Na sana back office. Na especially now with Trump and what is happening in Europe.
Yeah.
Where ukiwa wewe ni mtu mweusi, ni immigrant, you're brown, you're Muslim, wanataka kukufukuza. I think the best thing is to tell our young people, you can still be in the US, but you're working comfortably from here.
Yes.
And we still get their dollars.
Yeah.
And then you enjoy life here. Yeah, because hakuna haja ya kwenda mahali ambayo pia you're always watching on your back.
Yeah. I've actually never been a fan of living in this country. I always tell City that I'm okay where I am here.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of Swahili hub, Swahilipot hub, yes. Some of the success stories you can share with us.
Yeah.
For instance, how many individuals have been assisted? How many are you currently, serving, and so on and so forth?
You see, like one of the key things that we are doing at the moment is the mentorship program. Because we did a survey and asked young people what are the priority things that they need. And the first thing that came on top was mentorship. And mentorship is because they have, the very few of them have the opportunity to be guided by parents, by seniors. So wanajipeleka tu wenyewe. So for us, like the mentorship program ambayo tunasema saizi tumefika around 9,000. These are people who have gone through a structured program ya mentorship between 4 and 6 months. Na tunazifanya katika kule mashinani. Na ndio nasema kwa nini saa zingine ni muhimu kuwa na partners, because we are working with in places where there are no spaces. Kuna machief wako na zile sehemu zao, vijana wanakutana pale.
Naam.
Kuna wakati mwingine ni kwa kanisa, kuna wakati mwingine ni katika sehemu ya dini yoyote, kuna wakati mwingine inafanyika nyumbani. So I think one of the key things is this 9,000 that have gone through the mentorship program. I think 2 months ago I went to visit one session that was happening in Miritini. And I think if there is something that I picked and I was very proud of this project, was there's a young man, alisema, a number of them, that mwanzo when our coach called us, because we're also using some coaches as mentors, we never go for meetings kama hatupewi kitu. So tulikuwa tunamwambia kama hatupatii kitu hatukuji. But now they've realized that si lazima upewe kitu, because zile faida na manufaa ambayo wamepata ni kubwa zaidi. So hata now they are telling other people, I think you need to get into this program. Because kama kuna mahali ambayo pia tuliharibiwa nchi, sijui ni civil society ama sijui ni nani, ile unakutana ukitoka unatoka na basha ya shilingi 1,000 ama unatoka na 500. So even when you are doing something that will help these people, ikiwa hakuna pesa hatukuji.
Yeah.
And ndio
if there's no incentive.
If there's no incentive, but incentive, you must sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because what this person, huyu mentor anafanya, anataka kukuelekeza wewe, it's not about him, it's about you. He wants to guide you na kukupatia pathways na kubadilisha ile fikra. And I think one of the key things is to change their mindset. We have a curriculum that we are using, and the first thing that we are doing in ile journey of self-discovery. So we change your mindset completely. Then once we change your mindset, now we can tell you, kuna kwa mfano Nyota ina 50,000. Kuna program zetu ambazo sisi tumefanya, we were giving 100,000 kwa wale wasanii. But before we give them the 100,000, we first train them. And then we give them the cash, and then we do the follow-up. Kuna wale wanataka kuandikwa kazi, we take them through CV writing, how do you present yourself when you get a job, how do you retain a job. So hizi vitu zote unafanyiwa ni bure. So what other incentive do you want?
Actually, I don't know, there's a particular discipline that I worked in for many years, and I know that if we remove the discussion from the way politics and money has been integrated and cemented in a way of thinking, one of the pillars of the understanding within what we call research ethics is ensuring that the person who participates with you, whether they come for an interview,
Yes.
whether they are there as a research subject, that their time is compensated.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the money that is given because it is understood that even if you are employed in a sector that isn't perhaps regulated,
Maybe even a boda.
we've taken time away
Yes.
where you could have been
Earning.
making a living. Okay? But one of the things that we always struggled with was getting people to understand that we're not paying you. It's not a payment.
It's a compensation.
It's a compensation.
Yeah.
The concept of compensation, and that's where politics comes in. It had muddied those waters.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whenever somebody comes and the money is given, as far as they're concerned, they're being paid. And if they're participating over a period of time, they will now start asking you for a certificate of employment and say, but you're not employed.
In fact, most of them will come for that money.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
However, I'd also want
Yes.
to contribute to that in terms of sometimes, especially for these young guys who are unemployed,
Yes.
you find that this person is actually quite broke. Chances are they haven't had a meal or two in the last couple of days. And even that bus fare perhaps to come to where this training or meeting is happening.
Yes.
Unapata huyu jamaa bana labda hata alikopa, and I'm saying this because I've been there. You know, where you're told, Mbuvi, come, there's some people I want you to meet, listen to what they have to say, and I'm like, I'm broke, manzejo. How do I get to that meeting? So that person that you were talking to anakutumia 500 ndio uweze kufika pale, and then in the process maybe you can even have lunch. So sometimes I'm not excusing the fact that perhaps wanataka kakitu, but sometimes there's a reason as to why they might
So maybe nina contribution on that side.
yeah, sure.
Kuna circumstances tofauti. And I think we've tried to factor that in. And that's why we've created what we call the Youth Hub Network. We are trying to take these services as closer to you as possible, so that you don't have to come all the way to town. You just walk like 50 meters, 100 meters, and you go for that. And then we're also encouraging the people who are running these sessions. Can you try be flexible? For example, huyu ni bodaboda operator. Hebu mwambie ni wakati gani amehang around, hana kazi nyingi ambayo muketi ili naye aweze kupata ile faida. Kwa sababu my issue is sustainability. This program we wanted to proceed even kesho wakati hatuna any grant. And I also want to inspire other mentors kule mashinani ambayo wako. Kuna watu wanadeal na vijana wengi sana. Wao wenyewe wakati wanadeal na hawa vijana hata kwake nyumbani hajalipa rent.
Ni kweli?
Yeah. So imagine and I have, for example, I have somebody in mind anaitwa Batistuta. Ambaye nilimuingiza kwa hii program. Batistuta I wish angekuwa anajua angesikiza. I hope anasikiza, anapenda sana radio. Batistuta ako uwanja wa Mbuzi. Batistuta kutoka nimjue since the first time I went to Mombasa. Hata ile uwanja wa Mbuzi imetengezwa kwa ajili yake. Because nakumbuka kuna wakati tulienda tukawa tunavunja mawe kujaribu level tufanye mchezo. But it always has around 100 kids at any one time. Na nakwambia baadhi yao wachache ambayo wameepuka wako katika hizi vipanga. But for him, he spends all the time with these young people. But anafanya nini kimaisha? Ana hawk vitu. Utapata kama pale msikitini Serani, ameweka kofia, mabuyu, nini anauza. Kuna siku aliniita nyumbani kwake. Mimi mwenyewe unaona ile you are a man but unataka kutoka na machozi. Mke wake yuko bedridden in terms of hana limbs zote amekatwa. Akona msichana mwingine the same condition. But this person is always smiling and always serving other people. Na hawa watoto ambao wako na wao nasema nikiwacha hawa watoto mapanga zitakuwa nyingi. So if such people, these are the people that I want to continue with this program, even after we've stopped. We can't put demands on them that whenever you're convening us tupatie chakula. But still this guy akipata 2,000 utapata 500 ana divert anapeleka kwa hawa watoto. Ama hata saa zingine anawacha nyuma family, and then at times he does competition, washindi wanapewa mkate na soda. So and we have a lot of such people doing similar things. And for me, when I pitched this idea of mentors, I did not want people to sema ati mimi sasa ni mentor nimepata kazi. Nataka hawa watu ambao wanafanya extraordinary work mitaani. Si wapati pesa mingi. I give them between 15,000 and maybe 25,000. But I feel when I give you this money, it makes your work easier. At least wewe wengi wao, by the way, kwa sababu ya their love for the community, hata haiendi kulipa rent vile ninasema na facilitate, bado anaitumia kwa kuconvene na kukutana na hao watoto. So kuna kwa mfano single mothers ambayo wanaingia kwa hii program. Yeye mwenyewe anasema nikikuja pale hata sijui mtoto wangu atakula nini. But the other question that I ask them, what is the foregone alternative? If it is true that when you are not in these sessions that will develop you, you are somewhere earning even 50 shillings or 100 shillings, that's okay. But majority wamehang tu mitaani, hakuna kitu wanafanya. So huyu mtu ambaye anahang tu hakuna kitu anafanya, huyu ndio wa kwanza ukimuita na kuambia kuna kitu. But if it is true that you are doing something and getting 100 shillings, then huyu genuinely, because he 100 anapelekea mtoto wake, we need to find a way to support him.
You know, there's this nexus, the need that is real within the community. In fact, biomedical research, it's always a debate. At what point is the money compensatory for the time, and that includes transport, and at what point is it coercion? Now you see, given the poverty levels that many of our people are in, and again, biomedical research, a lot of the research is actually conducted among people who are economically disadvantaged. So any amount can be coercion. If you are in a place where 20 shillings offers somebody a meal for the day, 20. If you give him 100 shillings, when they explain to you what they can do with that 100 shillings, in fact, it stops you on your tracks. You realize, my goodness gracious me, how does this person live?
Survive,
Yes, exactly. But yet, it is important. Why it is important is, some knowledge may not necessarily sink to the level you want it to at the point of introduction. But with time, somebody realizes. But the power of example, especially among peers, which could be, should we say, matured into peer mentorship, the impact is profound. Because this is somebody who they know, somebody whom they relate to.
They're always together.
Yes, and they know the person's background. So when they see changes in this person's life, they realize it is possible.
Actually, at times you have to invest and spend the money kwa wale wa kwanza.
Yes. And ikishashika, you suddenly realize that they begin to understand it. If it was you relating them directly, there's a limit beyond which you will not go. But so long as it is individuals. Remember, one of the best ways of actually getting people to understand a concept is through word of mouth. And from people whom they know, people whom they respect, people whom they actually identify with. So when they see the success, in fact, to understand it, it is a concept of education in the times even before independence. The concept of education, as people understood it, was this person went to school and got a job. The parents' home now has
electricity
or corrugated iron sheet, or it's stone walled. See, progress had to be seen, and then if the person bought a car, they now see, hey, this going to school is useful because we saw so and so going to school, and this is what has happened. It's the same principle. When you find economically disadvantaged people, and by the way, I grew up in Mombasa, so I know. Okay, there are urban poverty is heartbreaking. Because it puts these individuals at such a disadvantage. They are very easily taken advantage of because they do not have anything to anchor whatever they do. Let me ask this question, Noor. When you look at a program like Swahilipot, how do you upscale it so that all the members of parliament who have kama si Mvita, kama si Changamwe, kama si Likoni, that all these people understand that this is the foundation on which you can build to actually get the youth to move away from what it is that they do and the negative influences that they are pulled towards.
And I think I will give credit to PS Tanui.
Yes.
PS Tanui has been very supportive.
Yes.
To Swahilipot Hub. And recently he brought the deputy president. I think he came almost the first 2 months after he became deputy president, Professor Kindiki. Kindiki came to the hub, and then we took him through the concept. Then he interacted with the young people. You know, he didn't want to leave. And one of the things that he said, we need to replicate this thing all over the country. And I think now it is, you know, when government leaders make proclamation, I think now it's up to now the officers to work together. But at times it's also about ownership. We need more and more leaders to come and visit. By the way, we've had visitors, governors, MPs from other parts of the country. Even the previous government, we had teams from Bungoma coming and seeing what we are doing at Swahilipot Hub. But I think the issue is action, and then also understanding the concept. I think the concept, a lot of them think that such a hub is about infrastructure. And there's a very beautiful one that was built in Isiolo, which it clearly shows you at times you can put even 100 million in a building and there's nothing. But the issue is normally the community, mobilizing the community, even if it is under a tree. But you have the right leadership, you have the right champions, and you have that thought process is understood very well and the concept is understood. Now the good thing is and this one I can mention because we've already signed, MasterCard Foundation have been following what we are doing. And one day they called us, and in the meeting, when we went, we also met National Council of Churches of Kenya. And now I can proudly say NCCK is one of our partners. So they said, every time we come to Swahilipot Hub, we see the energy, we see the convening power that it has. And a lot of young people identify it as a safe space. But it's only one location. But the National Council of Churches of Kenya has got centers all over the country.
They do.
But they are not attractive. That's let me not say it. Maybe they. You know, at times you need to limit the words that you use.
Yes.
But they say, how can we bring the same things that attract the young people to these centers? And I think that's why they brought us together with NCCK. Initially, they wanted us to start in 15 counties, but we convinced them. You know, when you throw me all of a sudden to 15 counties,
you're spread thin.
Yes. And then we also, and I think this is one thing that I really tell people when they tell me, why are you not in Bungoma, why are you not in Nairobi? We need people like us in all those counties.
Yes.
People who are embedded in the communities, trusted by the communities, and then we collaborate with them. But when you tell me to go with my team to Kirinyaga, it's difficult. So, and we were able to convince them then, can we start with 4 counties? We work with NCCK in Kitui and Nairobi. And then for us, we strengthen what we are doing in Kilifi and Mombasa. So the next 4 years, the next 3 years, we work with these 4 counties. And then after that, we learn, and then we can expand to the 15 or the 47 counties. So because I feel, and I think MasterCard Foundation have understood the power of safe spaces for our young people. And you mentioned urban poverty. In fact, one of the things, and I think this is, I will say normally my final thing that I'm working for the coastal youth. When a lot of people are within what you're calling the urban poverty, nyumbani ni survival, nyumbani ni chaos, nyumbani hata hauwezi tulia. you just want to escape from home.
Matumaini pia haipo.
Hakuna, yes. So these spaces are so important because if you can have a safe space. Kitambo watu walikuwa wanaenda msikitini na makanisani, but sijui siku hizi wanaenda wapi because ni kama imepotea kabisa. So what we need is if we can have spaces where and we do it in different levels. Ochana na hii unajua sisi tuna target 18 to 35. I would wish we also have centers with other people ambayo wana deal na watoto wadogo, so that mtoto mdogo wakati anafeel ako unsafe nyumbani, kuna environment imekuwa created kumpatia kumlea na kumkuza na kumpatia ile for example imagine a young person from Bangla or even Old Town or Kachonjo or Mshomoroni or somewhere Indiani, anaingia katika space, he's able to access tabs, lakini inamfunza vitu vizuri, sio hizi zingine ambazo unapata access haieleweki. Ana access vitu ambazo mtoto wa tajiri ana access hapa Nairobi, ama mtoto wa mbunge ama mtoto wa governor. So inakuwa ni community spaces ambazo zina thrive na kupatia mtoto ile fursa ya kuwa mtoto, kucheza akiwa protected. Anaweza kufanya soka kama anapenda because there is a proper field. Kuna wakati wako na njaa, juzi tulifungua na governor wa Mombasa ile community kitchen
Yes.
Kule Changamwe. Na in fact ile swali niliuliza kando, nilinong'onezea nikasema this community facility prepares almost 10,000 20,000 food packages ya lunch. Wakati shule imefungwa na usiku na weekend, can it be a community kitchen? So because I feel the strength of the future of wale watu wako katika abject poverty ni kuwa na community initiatives, whether it is a kitchen, whether it is places to play, because siku hizi hakuna mahali ya kucheza, education, recreation, hubs like Swahilipot hub. Even when you are doing affordable houses, are we doing this provision? Juzi nilienda Zanzibar na nikaona katika hizo nyumba za serikali kuna huge spaces, utafanya harusi, social hall, watoto wanacheza pool, wanacheza, kuna swimming pool, kuna nini. Then and I think for me this is so important, kwa sababu mimi nafikiria Mombasa na najua Nairobi, hata spaces, hata ukitaka uwanja wa volleyball hakuna, zimegrabiwa zote.
Kindly explain to me what a kitchen is all about. I know it's a place for cooking food, but
yes,
do I come with my own food cooked there? Is there firewood? Do I find gas there? Is it electricity? How does it operate? Because I've heard of them, I've just never witnessed one.
They are run by Food for Education, and for them they are concentrating and supporting schools,
primary schools mostly.
Yes.
Okay.
So now wana prepare two very simple chakula, chapati, I mean wali na pojo, wali na beans,
Githeri,
but kwa sababu it's a big kitchen, mwanzo wako na economies of scale because they are buying this in bulk. So they are able to deliver at a very low cost.
Okay.
Na saa zingine hata itakuwa hata shilingi 30 kwa mfano, because kuna subsidy from government, kuna subsidy from donor.
Okay.
So huyu mtoto ataweza kula hiyo lunch at maybe 20 shillings.
Okay. Understood. I thought it's a place where
but I think people need to think beyond it and maybe look at models all over the world.
Yes.
Because na assume mali ya slum kubwa ambayo hata kupika ni ngumu. Can we have these community spaces? The model of whether unaingia na chakula yako unapika, ama kuna watu ambayo wana vitu kwa urahisi, inapikwa hapo lakini unaipata at a very low price. I think ni muhimu.
You know, the idea of a safe space, it's often associated with youth and young people, but in economically impoverished environments, it's actually for that entire community.
Yes.
Because if you look at the spaces that they live in, first of all, in all honesty, some of them are actually not fit for human habitation. But that's what they can afford, and that's what they have. So when people have a sense of community, there's the understanding that this thing that seems to be the bane of your existence as a group of people can actually be overcome. And it is a lot easier when people actually get together. When you have a starting point of feeding their children, they get to see the importance of such an initiative.
And so, City, maybe nataka uongeze kwa hiyo.
Tafadhali.
Sitaki kukata thought yako, but hebu iweke kwa context ya old people.
Yes.
Widows.
Infirm.
Ambaye katika communities hawajui wafanye nini.
Yes. Thank you. No, I will let you continue that thought process because it is an excellent thought process.
Yes.
Because you see, how do you, when you do not have the means, take care of those who depend on you? They are elderly, some are unwell, and they need the help. See, when there's a community effort in it, or a coming together, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because within the community, they're your children, they're your relatives, they're your neighbors. Not everybody will be at that same level of poverty. And even if they are, some people may have connections. Somebody may know Noor will know somebody else, somebody else will know somebody else. That's the community I'm talking about. So this problem becomes a lot easier to manage because you'll get assistance from various
stakeholders.
Yes. And you'll actually find that burden is quietly being lifted. I know this because I was a chairman of a board of management of a local school in the rural area that I come from.
Yes.
And so you get to understand very many of these things. We had parents who couldn't pay fees. Some would bring firewood. Some, when they harvested their maize, would bring maize. Some would bring beans. You cost it because that's how they can pay their fees. Now, that is understanding the community, their ability. And then we got a headmistress who actually understood how to ensure that all these bursaries that exist and how to tap them. Fees arrears that had been there for God knows how long suddenly got sorted out. So again, when you empower people by giving them knowledge, what you actually do is you give them also the courage to be able to pursue things that ordinarily they would not even bother thinking about, not even doing. So as they start doing it and other people see what the outcome of it, then that community thinking comes into force and very many things will start changing as you watch within that particular community. Remember, one of the problems that the coast has had for a long time is drugs. And then you've had school dropouts. Because the example that these young people have is the worst possible example they could have.
The role models.
So you suddenly find you have a situation where they don't value going to school. They don't see the benefits.
But they will ask you, kwa nini niende shule City Muga na degree na tunasota na hapa?
That is, thank you. I was a headmaster once. And I remember a student of mine, this fellow was bright, really bright, and I wanted him to finish Form 4. And he asked me the question, lakini mwalimu, waje ndugu yangu alimaliza standard 8. Anapeleka gari nzuri kushinda yako. It was an honest conversation. Amejenga nyumba yake, amejengea wazazi. So, you know,
why should I struggle?
I told him, can I respond tomorrow? I didn't give him a response then. When I came back, I told him, look, najua atakwenda Saudia. That was a talk then. Okay? If you finish Form 4, because you will pass well, you'll be your brother's boss. He said, really? I said, yes. You'll earn more than your brother.
Kule Saudia.
Yes. Now, if you take the time and also study, because they have universities there, utakuwa manager. So everything that you've seen your brother doing, you'll do it many times more.
That's true.
3 years down the line, that young man came to see me. He told me, mwalimu,
you are right.
What you told me.
Yes. He was explaining to me. He wasn't alone. There were 2 others who came and said, what you told us is actually true. And they explained to me what they were doing and they're going to school. Now, this is somebody who has a family, he has a community he comes from. For me, I understood that he was yet another example of what happens when you have an education, because people saw what he could do. He's known to them. But this is how you spur development within community. This is how you plant that seed, then you water it, and then you just see it germinating. Because very many people in this country, whether it's in the rural or urban areas, but the urban area is worse. There are people who live without hope. So the first thing something like Swahilipot does, it gives you back that hope that you had lost. And it creates that sense of community that you had also lost. That you understand that actually life isn't hopeless. There are things you can do to make your life better. Now, once you get politicians to understand this, that even from a political perspective, it is a sort of thing that guarantees that people will value your leadership, then it becomes easier for it to be implemented and for it to grow.
Yeah.
But they have to understand it.
They have to.
And I think you summarize it very well. If there is one thing that I even debate with parents, I tell them what I give your kids is hope.
Yes.
Because I'm not government, I can't say I will give you jobs, I'll give you money, but I'm keeping that hope alive. Because once you don't have hope, that's you now follow the direction Yamapanga, you follow other directions which are also very dangerous. Yeah.
You know, it is fascinating, fascinating what hope can do.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. I have seen situations where people have a certain way of life because, as far as they're concerned, that's all they can do. Now, when what Swahilipot is doing is injected into that community, and they realize that there's a lot more.
Yeah.
You don't need 10 people. You just need one person to come out of that group and start embodying what it is that was envisioned. That is a spark. You just need a spark. Once you get that spark, then you actually see it growing. There's something called a multiplier effect.
Yeah.
If 2 people have done it and they talk to 2 other people, my friend, it is 6 here, it is 6 here. Even if each of those people just talks to another person, the multiplier effect begins. And within time, you will actually find that it's working.
Yeah.
There's a community in this country that is, one must study. The Somali community. These were people who were herding camels, and they were in some godforsaken place that had been neglected completely. That entire region, where they're talking about Marsabit, you're talking about Isiolo, that region. Then people realize that, you know something, if we actually work together, there's a lot we can do here.
Yeah.
And suddenly you move from being that we talk about the Chinese miracle, this is a Kenyan miracle, to the point where you are commercial giants, you are in industry, you are in construction, and if you look at it carefully, you know the thread, they work as a community.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing complicated. They work as a community. It's something the Kenyans of Asian origin used to do.
Yeah.
Now, there are examples that are before your very eyes for you to see on a daily basis. But the pillar on which they based most of it was many of these communities had education, formal education, and they had seen the benefits.
Yeah.
Some of these communities are beginning to see the benefits now.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Quite an interesting conversation. I had a couple of more questions, but I see our time is running out. I think the most important one is, how can we get in touch with you, whether we want to help or want to be helped?
I think Swahilipot Hub Foundation is on all social media platforms. But also, I will want to use the 30 seconds to talk about Pwani Innovation Week.
Please do.
It's normally 1 week where we showcase Pwani in a good way. Most of the time, even media will pick up issues of panga, ukora, drugs, nini. But during Pwani Innovation Week last year, we convened around 2,500. Probably 95% of them are young people. They interact with government, national, county, diplomats, people in the tech world, entrepreneurship, role models who are young, who have succeeded. So it is networking, it is building skills, it is showcasing what they've been doing throughout the year. Wale ambao wako successful, we celebrate them, including the mentors na wale ambao wanafanya biashara. So Pwani Innovation Week will happen between 27th and 31st. And the last day we also showcase talanta za Pwani. Pamoja na wataingiliana na wasanii kutoka Bongo, kutoka Nairobi, kutoka wapi. So it is a week where we celebrate and showcase Pwani, and we let people discuss Pwani in a different way. Not only kusema tunangoja maembe yanguke, but we show them that we actually have beautiful, inspiring stories. There are people doing great work in Pwani. So I hope people will join us then.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Thank you for that. That is Mohammed Noor. He is the founder and chief mentor at Swahilipot Hub Foundation.